My name is Ashley Noel Jackson. Stage name is A Noel. I currently live in Los Angeles, California. I'm an actor, also a producer and entrepreneur.
What is life like for you, let's say before COVID?
Before COVID, working in LA was very busy, very hectic. I was part of so many different productions at the same time. Over the course of a few years, I worked on the production side for the American Music Awards, for NAACP Awards. I was working on various commercials behind the camera. And then as an actor, I was, of course, auditioning 3-4 times a week, getting callbacks, not getting callbacks. You have like a bigger perspective of this is a business, it's a job. For me, it's like a dream come true. I wanted to be in that energy all the time. So for me, it's great. Before COVID, I was driving everywhere in LA trying to make sure I made my auditions on time, and as well as working on various shows behind the camera.
Oh, that's awesome. Actually, I'm so glad things were so busy for you. Can you talk about where you were when you heard of COVID?
I have to start way back in December of last year because there were a little bit of a buzz in the media, in the news, like, oh, COVID is here, but it wasn't taken very seriously. I mean, we knew like, okay, make sure you wash your hands and all that, but it wasn't until towards February where we're like, okay, this is affecting our jobs. It was spreading so quickly, and it got to a point where people who thought they just had the flu pretty much believe they had COVID just because their symptoms were so severe. But at the time, we didn't have the language or the education to really determine if it was a flu or if it was COVID. At the time, I had just started working as an audience coordinator for Holy Moly, which aired on ABC. And then I switched over to working on Family Feud with Steve Harvey. It literally went from everything was fine, and then quarantine gauntlet came down. Everyone lost their job. What happened for me was took a lot of time to be introspective and saying, okay, well, what's really important in my life? Was it important to be really, really busy or intentional with how I'm living? It was like pre-COVID, just busy, work. Quarantine happened. It's like the world stopped. And it was, for me, a blessing in disguise to see, where do I see my life? Where do I see myself as a professional and as a Black woman? Where am I headed? It was a hit, but I think it was a necessary hit, to be honest.
What's happening with LA right now? Are you guys still in quarantine? Are you starting to work?
We are still in quarantine, so to speak. Like, our gyms are still closed. There are certain businesses that are still closed. Our bars are closed. We started up some productions roughly a month and a half ago, but it's a very slow rollout just because we want everyone to be safe. We don't want to keep passing germs around. And I mean, it's pretty strict. So one production I'm working on right now, I work overnights. And so our main responsibility is to make sure all of our travel vans are cleaned out. And we have a specific process of how we disinfect the vans just to make sure that we're not cross-contaminating anything. As well as for the day team, on set, they even have very specific bathrooms that only certain departments can use only. And then they have their own special cleaning team that comes and cleans like every hour. They're wiping down everything, wearing masks. Now there's a specialized department specifically for COVID regulation, making sure that we're staying 6 feet apart unless absolutely necessary. We have to go close with somebody. We have a very specialized team that deals with talent and just talent. And then we have the people outside of that. We call it the bubble, and then we have people outside the bubble. Once that production wraps up, I'm actually starting on another production for ABC. And so they have their own regulations as well. People are just taking extra special care of each other at this time, which is great. I think it's wonderful. We're being more intentional with how we interact. So, but yeah, we do have masks. And I also sometimes, depending on the production, I have face shields we'll wear as well.
Were you able to access funds? You know, the CARE Act, did that help you?
Yeah, so I was able to access that. There was also rent relief as well in Los Angeles, like that you can apply for. You can get up to $2,000 of rent relief. So they'll give you like $2,000 to help pay your bills and things like that. And then there were other organizations that were arts related that was helping artists access certain funds, like up to $1,000. I didn't apply for that because for me, like my unemployment sufficed, but I knew people who did apply for it and got that relief as well. It was like a lot of programs did help, but I think that it was just like for that moment it helped. There needs to be some type of sustained help for the rest of the year.
You've heard a lot of politicians say this. We don't want to extend the CARE Act, the $600, because that won't motivate people to go back to work. And here you are as a prime example of someone who's an artist. And, as artists, we are labeled certain ways, and you're working.
As far as the CARES Act, it's imperative, especially for us, to have that sustained until the end of the year, because politicians keep saying that, it's going to make people lazy. And no, it's actually having an opposite effect. Because if you are feeling safe, which is like the number one thing for us humans, we want to feel safe. The number one way to do that is to make sure that we have funds available so then we can get back to work. I want to get back to work so bad to have that cushion and not to worry too much about like, oh my gosh, this bill is paid, this bill is paid, this bill is paid. I can focus on getting my life back in order, getting back to work. And a lot of my friends who struggled even getting unemployment, which was crazy. I have a friend right now who still cannot get unemployment. So she can't even get the CARES Act. If we had a better system on top of extending the CARES Act, like that's just taking care of your people.
And talking about taking care of people, you're in quarantine, we've got COVID going on, and then suddenly we're seeing on social media massively George Floyd stories and a lot of other stories that are similar. What went through your mind?
We've seen this story before, and yet nothing was happening, nothing was changing.
My father was 9 when the March on Washington happened. 56 years later, he said, I can't believe I still have to fight for this shit. He said that to me with a tear in his eye. He said, I thought we were past this.
I wanted my voice to be heard. I wanted to be part of a collective that wanted his name to not be in vain.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot! Hands up! Don't shoot!
To battle racism for me was a greater cause than to stay home over a virus.
You know what I told him? I told him, rest, Dad. We got it from here.
I always feel like protesting is the very first step of being heard. I cannot and will not be silent about this. So to see people coming together for this injustice, it was kind of like a rose in the concrete. We're not letting this go. As sad as I am about the tragedy, I am so proud that I'm in this space in this time using my voice.
Can you talk about what you've seen come from it?
Nothing but benefits. It's been really amazing to feel seen and being a part of something that's bigger than myself. On a cultural level, I've seen so many people coming together and learning true American history because we're all part of that.
Just accept each other. We all are here for love. We have to protect this nation. We have to protect this world. We have to protect each other.
I'm really proud to be a part of this whole Black Lives Matter movement, this whole instrument of change.